This is a moment with SoFly Mike. I know I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about Sovereign Flyer. The short of it is SOVFLY. SoFly Mike. That's something that I believe God gave to me. Certainly, the ability to do what I do is not of my own. But I think that there's a lot of places on YouTube people are recording videos, and I'm not going to go public at this particular moment, but I just wanted to begin to share some things, even for my own recollection. I write things down, which I think is very important, but to be able to, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and so this video is a conglomerate of hundreds of pictures, which means there's thousands of words that are can be drawn from these few moments that we share together. One of the things that I woke up this morning with is that someone can bring you their dump load of issues, and someone can bring a handful of issues. The person that brings a dump load of issues with humility and the characteristics that surround humility are something that you can handle. But if somebody brings you a handful of issues with arrogance and pride, that's something that can't be handled. And in fact, we find out in James chapter 4 that God resists the proud. And I wish I could remember the pastor who spoke this, but he said that in his interpretation of it, it means that God is on the opposite side of your team trying to tackle you because of your pride. We find out that in Proverbs, pride comes before a fall, and a haughty spirit, God deals with that. So I think these are some things that we have to begin to think about. And I spoke with my sister who, when I gave her these thoughts, she said, that sounds like a proverb. And she's dealing with some things professionally where the people are not coming from a place of humility, but her requirement is to be at a place of humility. As I began to think about this a little bit more, the struggle of doing the hard thing is where we find grace. Let's take a moment to look at Paul's life. I'm not going to look at it in context in a full time. Don't have enough time to in this short period to discuss Paul. But Paul goes to God 3 times. Something about 3, and we'll discuss these concepts of 3 later. But he goes to God, and for 3 occasions, whatever that time frame is, whether it's a month, a year, a 10-year time frame, different places of imprisonment, I don't know, and we don't know what he's actually praying for, but he's asking for this thorn to be removed from his side. And God says, mm-mm. And his response is, my grace is sufficient. Sovereign Flyer. We don't belong in the skies. We weren't made for the skies, but yet we find ourselves in places where we can fly like eagles. We've got to have God's grace to do the hard things. But the amazing thing that God gives more and more grace when we find ourselves in a place of humility. So as I'm talking to my phone, as I'm talking through this medium, you may be getting this message, but this is coming back right to Sovereign Flyer Mike, SoFly Mike. And God, give me more grace. But that is a hard question to ask for. In the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus prays a prayer, not my will, but your will be done. Here is grace asking for grace to do what grace has been designed to do. We are saved by grace. This has been a moment with SoFly Mike. Have a great day. We're going to be amazing in how God works in our lives.